I'm joined right now by Jeff Newgard. He is the CEO of Bank of Idaho. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We just heard Governor Brad Little extend that stay-at-home order for 2 more weeks. Let me ask you, how are you doing? How is your company doing? How are your employees doing?
Well, we had a pandemic plan, if you can believe that, and we typically have a disaster recovery tabletop exercise pretty frequently, and so we went into this thing very prepared. Uh, and you would think that morale would be hurt going through such an event like this, but it's been amazing to see how the team has really come together. We are at an all-time high with regard to our morale. We have people just really reaching out and helping, working extra hours to make sure customers are taken care of. It's a pretty daunting time right now, but people are getting through it, and they have a good attitude about it, and caring for each other and their customers.
That seems to be the characteristic trait of most Idahoans. Is we're pretty rugged. We can deal with things pretty well. Now, you mentioned you had a tabletop plan. Has
Yes.
that matched up with how things have worked out? The,
you
the,
know,
the
you,
planning
you, have,
equals the execution.
you have a plan until you get knocked in the mouth, um, or you're given the PPP to implement a month's worth of work in a week.
Until the government steps in.
That's right. They're here to help.
Yes.
No, of course you're going to have a deviation, and that's life. But the core has really maintained as far as having a lot of our staff mobilized that can be. We had a plan on how we were going to serve customers through drive-throughs. That stayed in place. So there's been some deviations, but I would say for the most part we've stuck to the plan. And communication is the big thing.
Hmm.
We meet every morning and discuss what's happened yesterday, what we're going to do, and you can tell people are getting fatigued. There's no doubt, but people are putting their hearts into this thing, and they're working hard, long hours, and it's all for the customer. We want to make sure the customer's served through this time.
And one thing that the banking industry in general has done over the last few years is move to online banking. And now instead of a gentle nudge, you're basically telling all your customers, hey, if you haven't started online banking, now's a pretty good time to try it out.
Oh, absolutely, and we've seen a good adoption of that too. Yeah, I think the timing was good on that. Had it been 10 years ago, it would have been a little different story.
Different story, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we briefly mentioned before the payroll protection plan that the government has instituted. Have you been talking to clients? Have they been learning more about it? What's that going on right now?
Yeah, actually before that program was introduced, we talked to 2,000 of our loan customers. Our loan officers reached out to them personally and asked them, "How are you doing?" And that really touched me because it was really people caring for people in just a real way. And some said, "Oh no, we're fine." Others said, we're hurting." Then the PPP was rolled out, and it had to be done so rapidly, and incomplete information as it was getting rolled out. But I'll say that our team has done a phenomenal job at stepping up to roll this thing out. And it's available to customers of employee size of 500 and less. The state of Idaho has nearly 9,000 approved loans in the amount of 1.4 billion. Nationally, there's about 1 million applications with 247 billion allocated so far, and that's a $350 billion plan. So hopefully more on the way, and we're helping. We have about 750 applications right now, and it's like I said, a daunting process, a lot of work to get everybody through, and we hope to get everybody through before all 350s allocated. So it's kind of a race to get through that process.
Okay. So, when you think of banks and you think of financial institutions, you think of numbers and dollar signs. But,
Sure.
with this pandemic, it's really bringing a lot of people together and you're connecting with people in ways that maybe you haven't done before.
That's right. That's right. So one of the needs that uh, Mark Peters and I saw was with the nonprofits, because you don't have ball games, you don't have theater, you don't have the symphony, you don't, and then you also have couple that with an increase in need at the food bank and at the food basket and all these other areas that really serve nonprofits that serve the community are in need. And so there was this fund that was developed, and the outpouring of money to that to really help those in need has been incredible. This community and this state is really giving, very charitable and caring for one another. In fact, I've got to tell you a quick little story. I was in a staff meeting and I said, if anybody has a need, let us know. And somebody said, we're out of diapers. And by the end of the day, there were diapers for that person,
Wow.
and free of charge. So we just gave it to them and made
Nice.
it happen. And I'm just seeing stories like that throughout the community.
And that's another reason why Eastern Idaho is so great, just because, like you said, the people are so giving. We're
Yeah,
strong, we're independent, and we'll get through this.
absolutely.
Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. If people would like to get information either about those PP personal protection plans, or if they'd like to learn more about maybe online banking,
Yes.
how did they get a hold of your company?
Well, a really easy way is on the website,
Okay,
back to the mobile aspect. But yeah, go to our website. We have a lot of information there that talks about how we're actually reacting to this and some good tips, as well as an application to that CARES plan.
fantastic. Jeff Newgard, thank you for taking the time out of your very busy day to chat with us. We do
Oh, my
appreciate that.
pleasure. Thank you.